Hey coach, now your Facebook groups have an entirely different purpose than your profile. So that therefore means that your profile posts, which concentrate on authority and relationships in order to attract, your Facebook group needs to concentrate on further nurturing that audience. So the posts in your Facebook group really need to double down on that value they serve. Now, one of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of coaches make is simply posting exactly the same content on the profile and Facebook group, and it's just not going to cut it at all. You now have some of your ideal audience in your sites, so you need to now target them with some VIP treatment. So in order to do that, we concentrate on 4 different types of Facebook post in your Facebook group. The first thing we want to target them with is value. So we want to be doubling down on the value on their specific problems and giving them guidance and authority all around value type posts. The next type of post is talking about me and you. So we talk about our own journey ourselves, and we also try and encourage them to talk about themselves as well in the engagement. The third type of post that we target them with is something called tease pain. Now, tease pain is, I guess, the not so gentle reminders of the problem or challenge that they have and its ultimate impact. So very similar to problem solving posts that we put onto the profile, but they go a little bit more deep. And then the last type is giveaway. Nothing more valuable than giving them stuff for free. So freebies that are exclusive to your group. Make sure you're not giving these freebies away on your profile as well. This is for the VIP treatment that you're going to provide to your audience that's only in your group. So ultimately, the purpose of these different content types, value, me, you, tease pain, and giveaway, is to serve so much value that it takes somebody from being mildly interested and nurtures them to a state of really wanting a serious conversation with you about how you can both work together. Now, your nurturing posts still need to follow the same good rules of content marketing. So the content creation formula that we've looked at previously should still be applied to all posts except postcards and polls. There's quite a few different post types that we can use for each of these 4 purposes: the value, me, you, tease pain, and giveaway. So let's take a quick look. So first of all, sticking with value, there's a few different types of posts that we can use. The first one being the standard problem solving. So very similar to the problem solving post that you put onto your profile, but we can put those into the group as well. The next type of value post that we should be looking at is testimonials. So showcasing what clients have said in their words inside our group. We can also do quote posts, things that are inspiring. Now, one bit of guidance, whenever you're doing a quote post, if you're picking somebody else's quote, do credit them, do state whose quote it was, but don't just post the quote as an image. Give the text that goes with the post some thought. What does that quote mean to you? How do you interpret it? How should others interpret it? What are the key observations that you want to point out in relation to that quote and how that links to the value that you're trying to provide to your audience? Another type of value post is a poll. So you can't do these on your profile, but you can do them in your group. So this is where you will give a multiple choice. So you'll give a question and people can answer your question by selecting one of the multi-choice options. And it will tell you how many people have then voted the different answers, give you a percentage. So for example, I like to use poll posts when I'm about to do a live training. And what I'll say to my audience is, I've got a live training coming up Thursday. I'm thinking of doing one of these 4 topics. Let me know below which would be most useful. And then I'll put 4 topics below and then they'll pick. And the one that gets the most votes will be the one that I do the live training on. And another type of post that you can do within value is training. Now, it's really useful to be doing this via video or a live. So these are all types of value post. So let's look then at the me you posts. So as I said, they are all about trying to engage with your audience and either talk about yourself and ask them their thoughts or get them to talk about themselves. And then one of the most commonly used types of post to get people to engage and talk about themselves are postcard posts. So postcard posts are a brilliant me you type post. The next thing that's also really good is polls. So again, you can use polls in the same way that we've used polls over here in value. We could also use them as a me you post. So for example, when I first started my coaching journey, I found that client acquisition was the hardest thing to do. What about you? What one of these 4 things do you find hardest when you started a coaching business? And give 4 options and see what people come back with. And then the final type of me you style post is welcome posts. So when you get new people into your groups, you might want to do a welcome post, welcoming new people with links to their profiles. Quite often that encourages them to say, hi, great to be here. At the bottom of your welcome post, it might even say, drop a quick comment to introduce yourself to the others. You'll find that other people in your group welcome them on board as well. So it actually gets some conversation going. So those are the 3 types of posts that you'd want to do for me you style posts within your group. Teasing pain. So as I've said, they are like problem solving posts, but they go just a little bit deeper. So with teasing pain, we can still do problem style posts. So problem solving. We can also use postcard posts. And there's something called a then versus now. Then versus now posts are really good ways of teasing pain. Your client might have a specific challenge on their journey at the moment, and it may be a challenge that you had as well, but you've now gone past that. So to give them that before and after in a post is actually a really good thing to do. So for example, when I first started my coaching business, I was told that I should run Facebook ads. What I didn't know at the time was running Facebook ads whilst having poor content or a weak message is not going to get the results I need. What I now know is that actually the most important part of marketing when you're a new coach is to sort your message out first before you do any client attraction or before you run any ads. So that sort of post would be like a then and now. Where was I versus where am I now? And make sure that your ideal client is where you were previously, but not yet at your now stage. And then giveaways, pretty obvious really. A lot of people tend to give away ebooks. So ebooks, PDFs. You might also want to give away workbooks that they can download and complete. So workbooks. Another giveaway is the opportunity to be featured. So for example, I sometimes put out there into my group only, my VIPs, that I'm prepared to do a podcast interview of some new and upcoming coaches. I might put them in front of my paid audience. So inviting them onto a podcast as a guest is quite a nice giveaway, and it gives them a little bit of exposure too. And then the other sorts of giveaways that you would do is training, masterclasses. And as part of that, you might also want to offer replays. So these are all different types of giveaways. Now, there is a key thing that you want to do when you are giving freebies, gifts to your targeted audience within your Facebook group. Do not simply send them to a page where they have to fill in their name, their email address, and their phone number. It's not the done thing to send them out to somewhere for you to collect more details. You don't need more details. They're already in your Facebook group funnel. You already know their name. You already have their profile. You already have a way of contacting them via DMs. Don't make it more tricky for them to have to get the freebie that you're giving away. Just send them a link straight away. So one of the things you may have noticed for those different types of post purpose, there is a little bit of crossover. Problem solving can be value post or tease pain. Polls can be used for value and me you type posts, and there are other crossovers. So it's all down to how you frame the messaging that goes with that post that determines its angle or its purpose. And one of the key things, make sure that every single post that you do within your Facebook group is always centered around your niche's problems, desires, outcomes, or concerns. In other words, stay true to your I help statement with your nurturing content. Otherwise, you're just going to confuse your audience that you've worked so hard to gather into your group. So let's look at some real examples of these different types of post. So first of all, we're going to look at value type posts. So what do some examples of value posts look like? So here we've got a post that's advertising a free live training. If they attend that training, they're going to get some value from that. Here's a quote type post. And what you'll notice with this quote type post is, first of all, it's my own quote. It's something that I have said and not somebody else. But then what I've also gone on and done is added some extra narrative around it that explains why I've quoted that and what it actually means. Not only that, I've also adhered to that content creation formula. So you can see I've still got a hook, event, value, lesson, CTA, image are all still part of that post. I've got another type of value post here, which is a problem solving video. So it's just a very short video. I think it's less than a minute that just talks about a specific pain or problem. And again, the text that goes along with that video is still using the content creation formula, and that's key. There's a training replay that I'm offering as another type of value post. Some more examples. A training teaser. So I've got some free training coming up and I'm actually trying to build a bit of appetite for that training. So I've done a very short video just outlining what that training is going to be on. Again, I'm still using that content creation formula. The training itself, which was a live training, I've then posted about it using hook, event, value, CTA, and there's an image there. I'm using a problem-solving postcard for this post here. Last chance today, coach struggling with tech, free 3 months coaching. So again, it's serving up value, whether that's insights, whether that's problem solving, whether that's giving them something for free, it's giving them a significant amount of value. So let's look at some different types. So me, you examples. So this is where we're trying to get them to talk about themselves or we talk about ourselves. So as a postcard, this example here, the biggest coaching biz game changer for me, just be me and ditch the comparison game. What's yours? So I'm talking about me to start off with, and then I'm asking them their opinion. Great way to get engagement, and it's specific within your group. We've then also got a poll. My next free training, you decide, vote below, and you can see people have voted. This was the most common answer, and that will be the thing that I will do my training on. Another postcard here, just asking a simple question. This isn't about me this time, it's just asking them their opinion. So emotions in business relating decisions, yes or no, what's your take? And that got a tremendous amount of engagement with inside the group. Another example of a postcard, coach is something you tell yourself but don't really believe, let's hear it. A lot of coaches within the group then were saying things like, I believe that imposter syndrome is not going to be a problem, but it is. I believe that I will be confident when doing posts and videos, but I'm actually not. So again, it helps uncover some of the real problems that people are having and allows them to fess up to them, which is then great for sending them some more nurturing content or entering a conversation with them in the DMs. And the welcome post is another example. So here's a post that I post reasonably frequently when I've had a fair few people extra in the group. I'll just welcome them aboard, links to all of the people, and they'll normally introduce themselves and people will say hello to them. So another very good way of getting some engagement. Let's look at tease pain examples. So we tend to have postcards, problem solving, and then versus now. To be honest, I use mostly postcards. So here's an example. I challenge you, convince me I am wrong about not needing a logo and a website for your coaching business. It's a great way of me gauging their thoughts on an opinion that I have, testing out a theory that I believe that my niche should be concerned about certain things or not concerned about certain things. You can use tease pain posts exactly for that purpose. Another postcard. A couple of problem solving posts. So these are more similar to the problem solving posts that you would normally see on the profile. But again, I'm solving different problems in here, probably going a little bit deeper on them. I always tend to use slightly more negative visuals to go along with them. Me with my head in my hands or looking confused or looking sad or upset, just to tease that pain a little bit more. There's no point saying, oh, have you got a problem with this? And then a photo like this with you smiling and your thumbs up. You need to look sad. You need to invoke that right emotion and relate to that emotion that they're probably having. So they're tease pain posts. Giveaways, really simple, work really well when done with postcards because it's very few words and they stand out. So here's a training replay. Did you miss it? Cost-effective strategy for tech for coaches. Comment replay. Loads of people comment. And then you just send them the replay link. Don't send them to a page where they have to fill anything else in. Just send them that raw link. Here's that example that I mentioned earlier about inviting guests onto the podcast, which again is a giveaway. It's a freebie. So here's a post. Exciting opportunity to appear as a guest coach on my podcast, which is only available to my paid community. Who's interested? And I'm getting them to engage and post whether they're interested, post a comment. Other types of freebie. So this is a workbook that I was giving away. As you can see, I'm adhering to that content creation formula. I've still got my hook, event pain, value lesson, CTA, and image in there. This is a workbook that I'm giving away for free. And then last of all, a PDF postcard. Friday giveaway, free Facebook profile makeover checklist. Want it? And then people will comment. So as you can see, loads of examples there. It's pretty simple really, especially when you've got those examples to refer back to in the workbook. So do go and check them out. Do familiarize yourself with those different types of post. Have a play about with poll because you haven't seen those on your Facebook profile because it doesn't support them. So within your group, that's something you can play with. And just play about with that problem solving type post as well, where you're going to go a lot deeper. The Me You posts are also really, really good. It's a way of getting some great engagement on provocative questions, very similar to like the debatable questions that you're posting to your profile as postcards. Remember, this is all about nurturing an existing interested audience. You've already built that relationship. You've already built some authority with the audience. They've shown some intent. They wanted to come into your group. So now you double down on the value that you're providing to them and double down on the conversations that you're having with them. That's what nurturing is all about. And then the final piece of the puzzle, very similar to the Facebook profile, I gave you a 4-week planner. Well, I'm going to do the same for your Facebook group as well. So I've already worked out the optimal way of posting 4 days a week, mixing up those different types of posts, those different types of purpose that you want, and mixing up the formats of those posts. So let's take a quick look. So here's the planner. This is also available in the attachments of the training. So as you can see, we've got the different weeks, week 1, 2, 3, and 4. Once you've done week 4, obviously you just then go back to week 1 again. So it's a constant cycle of 4 weeks. And the idea behind this 4 weeks, the same as the profile content really, is it's just mixing it up so that each week is still concentrating on the same purpose, but perhaps the format is just very slightly different. So let's just take a look at week 1, for example. So we've got a then versus now post and image on the Monday. On Tuesday, we're doing a testimonial as a post and image. On the Thursday, problem solving post and video. And then Saturday, we're doing a problem solving post and image. And then in week 2, we just mix it up very, very slightly. So it becomes either a me or a welcome type post. On the Tuesday, rather than doing a testimonial in this week, we're doing a freebie. On the Thursday, rather than doing a problem-solving post, we're doing a poll for the next video. Because what I'm intending to do is do a live training on that following Thursday. So I'm going to do a poll to gauge what content it is that they want to have in my free training. On the Saturday, rather than doing a problem-solving, this time I'm actually going to do some form of announcement. So what I'm going to do is announce the fact that I've decided now, based on what people said, what my free training is going to be on. Don't miss it. Here's the link. And then you've got your week 3, which mixes it up again slightly again, and then your week 4. So it all works really well together now. So all of these different types of posts that you're posting, some of the days are the same as the posting days that you're posting to your profile, but you're also posting on a couple of different days. So across both your profile and your Facebook group, you're posting now 5 or 6 days a week. And bear in mind, some of that audience will be the same. You'll still have some people in your friends list who are also inside your group, clearly. But you'll also have the fact that not everybody sees every single post. So don't worry about being repetitive. I think the stats suggest between 3 and 5% of your audience will see a post. That's just the way it is. They might not be on Facebook that time. They might not be on for a few hours, by which time you're a lot further down their feed, so they're not going to see that post. So don't worry about being repetitive. But do bear in mind, as I said at the start, your Facebook profile content is all about authority and relationship building. But this Facebook group content, as you can now see, is very, very different. There are a couple of overlaps, but you are giving your audience the VIP treatment now because you've already built a little bit of authority and you started to build a relationship. So now is the time to target them with value, value, value. Plenty of giveaways, plenty of problem solving that goes really deep. So the handout outlining all of the different types of posts with the examples is available as an attachment to this lesson. And you've also got the 4-week planner for the Facebook group content that's available as well. So let's start creating some nurture content now, shall we, within our Facebook group.